Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in this fine country, and welcome to our presentation today on last minute rail vacations brought to you by Amtrak Vacations. Allow me to introduce myself, everybody. My name is Nick Bennell, and I have proudly been with Amtrak Vacations now for just over 5.5 years. Now, I'm very excited because I myself am very passionate about rail travel. I've actually done quite a bit extensively throughout the United States, Canada, and Europe. So I'm very excited to share a lot of this great information today. Got some really great last minute trips that we have coming up for the remainder of 2018. I can't believe 2018's almost half over. How crazy is that? It seems like New Year's Day was just a couple of weeks ago. So crazy how time flies. Definitely stay tuned towards the end of the presentation today as we have tons of really great things going on, as well as we have exclusive discounts for all attendees. So it's definitely something to look forward to. And before we get started, don't forget to download the handout here where that top arrow is pointing. They'll definitely highlight a lot of the great information that we're going to go over today and some of the great packages and destinations we're going to go over. And below that, if you have any questions today throughout the presentation, please feel free to input those into the questions box, and I will answer all questions towards the end of today's presentation. So let's hop right into it and first and foremost ask ourselves, why Amtrak Vacations? Well, there's several reasons for that. First off, traveling by rail is a bucket list experience. In fact, we surveyed all of our travelers last year as to why they chose traveling with Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations, and the number one consensus answer we kept seeing was that it was a bucket list trip. If you think about it, you all have done ocean cruises. You've done the all-inclusives to Mexico and to the Caribbean. You've now gone to Walt Disney World and conquered river cruising now, and now you're looking for that next adventure, that next thrill, and the rail can satisfy each and every single one of those needs. Room to roam, take what you know about being up on an airplane or in a motor coach for hours upon end, where you can't really get up and move around. You're stuck in a seat for hours and it's just not comfortable. Well, take what you know about that and throw it out the window, because with Amtrak, you're actually encouraged to freely move amongst the train. Go visit the cafe car, visit the dining car, visit my personal favorite, the observation car. There's less hassle. There's none of this business about checking in 24 hours ahead of time or paying for your checked luggage ahead of schedule, or even showing up 2 to 3 hours before your departure like you would with a flight. No. With Amtrak, how does 45 minutes to an hour sound? That is the average time that people will generally show up prior to their Amtrak departure, really making it as hassle-free and as worry-free as possible for you. City to city service. Now, I love this because one thing I dislike are those long airport transfers. You know, you fly into some destinations, and lo and behold, sometimes you have up to an hour-long drive to get you to where you need to be. Well, with Amtrak, we typically go from downtown to downtown. Look at New York Penn Station, for example. It's right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Los Angeles Union Station's right in the heart of downtown LA. Or how about Chicago Union Station, which is Amtrak's substation? That is all situated right in the heart of downtown Chicago, right in the loop. We get you to where you want to be right off the bat so you can start your trip off on the right note. Satisfy your hunger. Now, this will touch base on just a little bit later. I just want you all to know that whenever you do upgrade to the sleepers, meals on the train are automatically included. You won't want to miss out on that, as the food on Amtrak is fantastic. And lastly, flexibility. One of the best parts about our vacation packages as well is the fact that they operate almost every single day. With just the exception of a couple of our seasonal national parks, almost every single one of our packages departs on a daily basis. Unlike the motor coach tours where there might be select departure dates, or the cruises where there's select sailing dates. Now, I love showing this map because it really amazes me at how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, Amtrak is services 46 out of the 48 continental states here in the United States, with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming. And last year, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million riders, which, to put that in perspective, if Amtrak was an airline, Amtrak would have been the sixth most flown airline in the world. It's pretty exciting. So it definitely goes to show rail travel is in demand, and it's definitely your chance now to experience all on yourself. And keep in mind too, everyone, you can start between any of the 500 Amtrak stations to start or end your trip at. They're all throughout the United States and Canada. Or alternatively, you can fly to your start destination or fly home from your end destination. It is completely up to you. Now, I got a couple fun little slides that really highlight the benefits of traveling by rail. And the first one is there's no middle seat on board the train, which is really fantastic. This happened to me not too long ago. I had the middle seat on a 6-hour long flight. I couldn't get comfortable. I really didn't enjoy myself, and that's not what traveling is supposed to be like. You're supposed to be able to be comfortable and enjoy yourself. Well, with Amtrak, we work in rows of two. So 2 big seats on one side of the aisle and 2 big seats on the other side of the aisle, truly maximizing how comfortable you can be on board the train. There's no reason for you to be sandwiched between 2 strangers. And you get views that most travelers never see because Amtrak travels on the rails. You don't get to see what you see from the interstate or from an airplane or from a motor coach. You get to see a different perspective of our country. You could skip the traffic and take the train. In fact, we have a saying we like to use around here. Why not take the road less traveled? That road being Amtrak. All you have to do is kick back, relax, and let us do the driving for you. How about the fact, do you not like to fly? I can tell you this speaks personally to me. My sister doesn't fly. She's terrified. She has to rely on Amtrak to get to her vacation destinations. So if you don't fly, this is definitely the way to get to your vacation destinations. This may be my favorite slide in the whole presentation. What do we see on the left-hand side? See clouds, right? It's pretty boring if you ask me. And if you think about it, clouds are going to look the same no matter where you go in the world from an airplane. It's true. But we look at the right-hand side. We see pristine coastline and beaches. We see big cities. We see mountains. These are just some of the examples of those beautiful landscapes that can only be seen on board Amtrak. See, it's really nice here in the United States as we have really every type of landscape imaginable. We have those beaches and coastlines, those big cities, those mountains, but we also have deserts, rainforests, prairies, plains, swamplands, small town America. And the best part about it is all of it can be experienced and enjoyed from the comfort of an Amtrak train. There's nothing like it, my friends. It's the best way to see our beautiful landscapes in the United States. And once again, where can I start my rail vacation? Well, we can start your rail vacation from your hometown. All of our vacations can be customized to start from your hometown. So no matter where you are in the United States or in Canada, you can definitely pick up our vacation packages. In fact, we have 3 points of entry from Canada into the United States with Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. And lastly, you can choose the hotels that work best for your needs. In fact, in almost all of our destinations, we work from 3 to 5-star properties. So we can definitely get what you want in the type of hotel accommodations that you desire. So keep that in mind. And the other neat thing is too, is we work hand in hand with some of the most sought after national park lodges here in the United States that we can actually get you the space at the lodges inside the park, which is really fantastic as the national parks are some of our top vacation destinations. Now, we offer quite a few different types of vacation packages that can really cater towards any type of traveler. First, we have our independent rail journeys. Now, these are our multi-city, multi-state, week-long to even up to 16-day-long trips. They're incredibly comprehensive as they do cover quite a bit of ground. So if you are looking for a bit of a longer trip, these are the perfect ones for you. We have our rail experiences, which put the focus on the journey rather than the destinations. We tend to keep the hotel and destination stays at a minimum, where the true focus is being on the train as much as possible. We have our family adventures. Now, we always recommend these if you're doing a if you're doing like a multi-generational trip or a big family trip, as they're completely family friendly. From grandparents to grandchildren, there is something for everyone on the family adventures. We have our rail and sail programs. Now, I love these because they take 2 completely different travel styles and roll them up into one amazing package. Not only do you get the journey on board Amtrak, but we combine that with an Alaskan cruise out of Seattle or Vancouver. In fact, we work hand in hand with Norwegian Cruise Lines to bring these packages to life. We have our rail getaways, which are our single city 2 to 3 night long trips. If you're looking to get away maybe for just a couple of nights, definitely keep these in mind as a really great last minute option, as we have these all throughout the United States and Canada. So we definitely have some destinations close to your hometown. And lastly, national parks, some of our top destinations that we have to offer. As I mentioned earlier, we do work hand in hand with some of the most sought after national park lodges here in the United States that we can bring these packages to life. I'm talking the Grand Canyon, Glacier Park, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, Grand Tetons, just to name a few. So with all of that said, let's hop into some of our top last-minute vacations for 2018. And the first we're going to go over is our most popular vacation for the fall time. That's right, our New England fall foliage. Now, we do have some space available left on this package, so definitely you won't want to miss out on this, as it really is the best way to see autumn in New England. So this trip starts off with 3 nights in Boston, right in the heart of downtown Boston, right where you want to be. And while you're in Boston, you will have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions that Boston has to offer. You also get a sightseeing tour of historic Lexington, Concord, and my hometown, Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's a really fantastic tour. You actually get to see a lot of the key historic sites from the Revolutionary War, such as the battlefield of Lexington and Concord, as well as Harvard University in Cambridge, which is really fantastic. And lastly, we get the sightseeing tour of New England fall foliage. Now, this tour is the highlight of the whole package. It's a really fantastic motor coach tour. What it does, it picks you up in Boston. It drives you out to central Massachusetts. It loops you up through New Hampshire, and then it loops you back down into Boston. So you do like a big loop through central Mass and New Hampshire. It's a really fantastic, and the point of this tour is being able to experience the fall foliage and the leaves changing. It's a really fantastic tour, and it's really the best way to see some of the New England states during the fall time. Now, once our fun in Boston's all said and done, we're then going to hop aboard the Amtrak Downeaster train, which is a fantastic train, very scenic, as we take that from Boston up to Portland, Maine. And when we get up to Portland, Maine, we will do 2 nights in a downtown Portland hotel, right in the heart of Portland, which is an amazing little town. And while we're in Portland, we will have a sightseeing tour of the city of Portland, which will take you around, show you all the some of the key highlights of the city of Portland. It will also show you some of the famous lighthouses in that area as well. So this trip right here, everyone, is a 6-day, 5-night. We get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Boston. We get the sightseeing tour of Cambridge, Lexington, and Concord. We get the sightseeing tour of New England's fall foliage. And then we go up to Portland, Maine. We get the sightseeing tour of Portland. That's all in all one way on Amtrak and coach accommodations with 5 nights hotel. 3 nights Boston, 2 nights Portland. Now let's pay a visit to our most popular year-round national park, that being the Grand Canyon. Now, the Grand Canyon is definitely our most popular year-round national park, and there's a reason for it. It is the most visited national park here in the United States. It actually had just about 8 million visitors last year. And there's a reason for it. It's actually there's a reason why it's considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It is truly fantastic. I love the Grand Canyon. It's definitely one of our national treasures. So this package right here is a 5-day, 4-night. So we do an overnight train from Los Angeles, California, doing the overnight train on the Southwest Chief to Williams, Arizona, where we arrive the following morning. In Williams, we'll switch right over to the Grand Canyon Railway, where we'll take that from Williams up to the South Rim. When we get up to the South Rim, we'll do 2 nights up in the Grand Canyon Village at one of the lodges, and we will have a guided motor coach tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim. And then we'll take the Grand Canyon Railway back down to Williams and then do the overnight train back to Los Angeles. There's so many tremendous views up at the Grand Canyon South Rim. Just look at that up on the top left and on the right-hand side. It's absolutely gorgeous. If we look at the bottom left, you see that train. That is the famous Grand Canyon Railway, which is the antique steam train that will take you from Williams, Arizona, up to the South Rim. I absolutely love this train because it adds another train experience to a train vacation. So not only do you get the Amtrak experience, you get that classic antique steam train experience as well. And there's a reason why this train has been in existence for over 110 years. It actually passes through the largest ponderosa forest in the state of Arizona, which is really, really amazing. You get to see some really amazing sights and some scenery en route up to the South Rim. So just to highlight this one, everyone, it's a 5-day, 4-night. We get round trip and coach accommodations on board the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the Grand Canyon Freedom Motor Coach Tour. We get 2 nights hotel and 2 nights on board the train. And yes, those 2 nights on the train are in coach accommodations. We can absolutely upgrade that to the sleeping accommodations. We'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train will be included. And keep in mind too, all these packages can be customized to fit your needs. So take, for instance, maybe you want to add extra nights up at the South Rim. You can do that on the last package. Maybe you want to add nights in any destination or remove nights. Maybe you want to add another destination. Maybe you want to remove a destination. Maybe you want to build a package from the ground up. We can do that for you. Just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to plan your dream rail vacation. So let's go over one of our top packages, brand new for 2018. This is our Rocky Mountains to Arches in Canyonlands. Now, this trip includes 2 of our brand new destinations, being Arches and Canyonlands National Park. These are brand new for 2018, and they are huge. So this trip starts off with 2 nights in Denver, Colorado, where we get to do a full day tour of Rocky Mountain National Park. From Denver, we then do one of the most scenic stretches on board of the Amtrak trains on the California Zephyr, where we go from Denver to Grand Junction. It's literally nonstop mountains. We get into Grand Junction, do 2 nights in a centrally located hotel in Grand Junction, and while we're there, we get the full day tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Park. With this tour, you see the beautiful scenery of Rocky Mountains and the red rocks of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. It's really fantastic, really beautiful area. Definitely is a reason why it has been one of our two of our top destinations for 2018. So this package is a 5-day, 4-night. We get the sightseeing tour of Colorado Rockies Mountain National Park. Then we get the sightseeing tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Park from Grand Junction, Colorado. You get some really incredible mountain and red rock views from your seat on board Amtrak's California Zephyr. All in all, it's one-way and coach accommodations with 4 nights hotel. Very exciting, and as I mentioned, brand new for 2018. We still have some space available for this one as well, so definitely now is your chance to experience Arches and Canyonlands National Parks as well as Rocky Mountain National Park. Now let's pay a visit to another one of our top packages for this year that we still have some space available on. And this is huge because this pays a visit to some of our top destinations in the Pacific Northwest. This is Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journey. This trip is fantastic as we start off with 2 nights in downtown Seattle. And while we're there, we'll spend 2 nights in a downtown hotel. And while we're there, we will have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Seattle, which will take us around the city on a big loop. And we can get off and on as we please at all the different sites and attractions that Seattle has to offer. We will also get admission to the Space Needle, Seattle's most iconic landmark, as seen right on your screen, as well as admission to the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Dale Chihuly is this great artist that makes these beautiful glass sculptures that look like flowers, and this actually is his landmark museum. And the best part is it's actually situated right at the foot of the Space Needle. So as soon as you step out of the Space Needle, you then can visit the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. Once our fun in Seattle is all said and done, we are then going to hop aboard Amtrak's most scenic regional train, that being the Cascades. And we're going to take that from Seattle up to Vancouver, BC. And when we get up to Vancouver, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown hotel right in the heart of Vancouver. And while we're in Vancouver, we will have a couple different things included. First and foremost, we will have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Vancouver, which will take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions that Vancouver has to offer. Definitely recommend while you're doing this, taking time up in Stanley Park. Stanley Park to me was one of the most beautiful areas I think I've ever visited in any city, and I've been all around the world. So it was really beautiful. It's actually double the size of Central Park in New York City, and it's home to the famous totem poles of Vancouver. It's home to the Lost Lagoon, and it's just really, really beautiful and peaceful. So definitely keep that in mind. It's definitely well worth a visit to Stanley Park. Also, while we're in Vancouver as well, we will get admission to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which is one of the longest freestanding suspension bridges in the world. It actually goes across the top of one of those Pacific Northwest rainforests. It's really neat, actually. It's definitely, you look down and it's pretty remarkable that you're overlooking a rainforest, which is really, really neat. Once our fun in Vancouver is all said and done, we are then going to take the ferry from Vancouver over to the capital city of British Columbia. That's right, we're going over to Victoria, one of my favorite cities as well. Absolutely beautiful, very charming city. And while we're in Victoria, we will have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Victoria, as well as admission to the Bouchard Gardens, which is the must-see attraction in the city of Vancouver. It is fantastic. You won't want to miss out on it, as the Bouchard Gardens are absolutely beautiful. So this trip right here is a 7-day, 6-night. We get hop-on, hop-off tours of Seattle, as well as admission to the Space Needle in the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. We get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Vancouver, as well as admission to the Capilano Suspension Bridge. And then in Victoria, we get a hop-on, hop-off tour, as well as admission to the Bouchard Gardens. Overall, it's 6 nights hotel, 1-way on board Amtrak, and yes, that 1-way is in coach accommodations. And keep in mind, too, everyone, you can get away for a weekend or for a few days with our getaway packages. We can add rail and start the trip from your hometown. Such popular spots as Niagara Falls, San Francisco, or New York City, which we can actually, New York City is very popular and actually also work with all the top Broadway shows. We actually get tickets for almost every single one of the top Broadway shows, except for Hamilton. So we can definitely help you out getting some show tickets, or maybe you want to go visit our nation's capital, we can do that for you as well. So keep in mind, we also offer some really great other destinations as well. This is our most popular seasonal national park, that being Glacier National Park. Now, Glacier Park season is very, very limited. It's from mid-June to mid-September. So as you can imagine, space does fill up rather quickly because of how limited it is. And their season really is from mid-June to mid-September, and it is because it is up in northern Montana. So yes, it is. It does snow about 9 months of the year up there. So keep that in mind as we can help set this up for you. This is our most popular package for Glacier National Park. It's our Essential Glacier National Park. 3 days, 2 nights. We do 2 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, which is the oldest and most historic of the Glacier Park Railroad hotels. It's really fantastic. And while we're up there, we will have the Big Sky Circle Tour. Now, the Big Sky Circle Tour is the main tour of the park. It's a full-day tour that utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main stretch of highway that runs right through the middle of Glacier National Park. And it offers some really amazing views and visits to some of the top parts of Glacier National Park. Now, I will say that the tour is definitely the most comprehensive that the park has to offer. So you will be able to see the majority of the sites to be seen up at Glacier National Park. So and then we also get 1 dinner as well included at the Glacier Park Lodge. Or maybe we want to go visit another one of our top seasonal national parks, that being Yellowstone. Yellowstone's very popular as well. Now, you might remember at the beginning of the presentation, you might ask yourself, Nick, I thought the train doesn't go to Wyoming. How do we get up to Yellowstone? You would actually go by means of Salt Lake City. This package right here, you do 1 night at the beginning in Salt Lake City in a downtown hotel. You then hop aboard the Salt Lake Express, which is a motor coach transfer that will take you from Salt Lake City up to West Yellowstone. And when you get up to West Yellowstone, you'll do 2 nights in a centrally located lodge right up in the heart of West Yellowstone. While you're up in Yellowstone National Park, you will have a full-day guided sightseeing tour of Yellowstone National Park's lower loop, which is a really amazing tour, as you'll be able to see some of the majority of the major sites that Yellowstone Park has to offer. In fact, it is guaranteed on this tour you will see the Old Faithful geyser erupt. It is guaranteed, so keep that in mind. Once our fun in Yellowstone is all said and done, we will then hop aboard the Salt Lake Express motor coach transfer and take that bus back down to Salt Lake City. We'll then do another overnight in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel. So overall, it's 2 nights hotel Salt Lake City, 2 nights hotel Yellowstone. You get a sightseeing tour of Yellowstone National Park's lower loop, as well as round trip transportation from Yellowstone National Park, from Salt Lake City to Yellowstone National Park. So let's continue and visit another one of our top packages, that being for Seattle. This is our most popular package for Seattle. It's our Seattle Ultimate Getaway. We do 4 days, 3 nights. Once again, 3 nights hotel in downtown Seattle. And while we're there, we get the Seattle City Pass, which gets us admission to some of Seattle's top attractions. So we get admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden Glass Museum. We also get admission into the Museum of Pop Culture. We can go to the zoo. We can go to, I believe, the aquarium, and it also includes admission as well onto a harbor cruise, which is really fantastic. Along with this as well, we get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Seattle, or we get a sightseeing city tour of Seattle as well. Now let's pay a visit to our most popular New York package, definitely quite popular throughout the year. This is our New York City Ultimate Getaway. We do 3 nights hotel right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. While we're in New York, we'll have a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take us around the city on a big loop. And we can get off and on as we please, all the different sites and attractions that Seattle has to offer, or New York has to offer. And then we also get dinner at a popular restaurant, which is the View. I would recommend going to the View restaurant. We work hand in hand with them. It's the revolving restaurant atop the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Times Square. And lastly, we get the New York City Pass, which will get you admission into some of New York's top attractions. You'll get admission to the Empire State Building, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Guggenheim, the American Museum of Natural History, the 9/11 Museum and Memorial. You could do the ferry out to the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. It gives you admission to tons of different attractions. And the best part is not only do you get admission, but you get the expedited entry as well. So you don't have to wait in any lines. I can tell you firsthand, waiting in line for the Empire State Building can sometimes take up to 2 to 3 hours. I can tell you firsthand, I've done it myself. The City Pass, you get to avoid all those lines. Now let's pay a visit as well to Niagara Falls, very popular. And this is on the Canadian side, so passports are necessary. This is our most popular package for Niagara Falls. It's our Niagara Falls Getaway round trip from New York City. Now, if you are coming from outside of New York, not to worry. Say you're coming from the West, we can absolutely help set that up for you. You would just go by means of Buffalo, New York. So we can definitely set that up. Now, I will say the reason why it is out of New York is simply because that's the most direct option to get to Niagara Falls, because you have the Maple Leaf train. What this package is we do 2 nights hotel in a hotel that's literally steps away from Horseshoe Falls, which is the biggest of the falls. And while we're up there, we get admission to the Skylon Tower, which is the observation tower that overlooks the falls and offers some really splendid views of Niagara Falls and the Niagara region. And we also get Voyage to the Falls boat ride, formerly known as Maid of the Mist, which is the boat ride that will bring you up to the falls themselves. And it also includes round trip Amtrak and coach accommodations on board the Maple Leaf train. And then I'm going to save the best for last, my friends. This is our Grand National Parks. Now, this trip we introduced for last year, for 2018, and is by far, for 2017, it is by far one of our top packages. It was one of our top packages last year, and that's our top package, one of our top packages again for this year. This trip is amazing, and there's a reason for it. I mean, it covers, some and utilizes some of the most scenic routes that Amtrak has to offer, but you also visit some of the most iconic national parks here in the United States. So this trip starts off in Chicago, departing out of Chicago on the California Zephyr, where we do the overnight train from Chicago to Salt Lake City. We get into Salt Lake City, we do 1 night in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel, and while we're in Salt Lake City, we then catch the transfer from Salt Lake City up to West Yellowstone. When we get up to West Yellowstone, we'll do 2 nights in one of the lodges up in West Yellowstone, and while we're up there, we will get a full day tour of Yellowstone National Park on that lower loop tour. From Yellowstone, we'll then take you back down to Salt Lake City. We'll then catch an evening train, an overnight train from Yellowstone over to San Francisco, where we arrive the following afternoon. And in San Francisco, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're there, we will get a full day guided sightseeing tour to Yosemite National Park. Now, you won't have to worry about getting yourselves to and from the park. They'll pick you up at your hotel, drive you out to the Yosemite Park, and you'll get a full day comprehensive tour of the Yosemite Valley. Once our fun in Yosemite in San Francisco is all said and done, we will then hop aboard the Amtrak Coast Starlight, which is the most scenic train in North America. In fact, it's been voted the most scenic train in North America the past 3 years. And we're going to take some day travel from there down to Los Angeles. And when we arrive into Los Angeles, we're going to do 1 night in a downtown Los Angeles hotel. And while we're in Los Angeles, we're going to have a guided sightseeing city tour of the city of Los Angeles as well, so you can get to experience some of the best that Los Angeles has to offer as well. Once our fun in LA is all said and done, we'll catch an evening train, an overnight train on the Southwest Chief from Los Angeles to Williams, Arizona, where we arrive the following morning. And in Williams, we are going to then hop aboard the Grand Canyon Railway, which we will take from Williams up to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. When we get up to the South Rim, we'll have the guided motor coach tour of the South Rim, and then spend 1 night up in the village at the Grand Canyon South Rim. After the 1 night at the South Rim is done, we'll then bring you back down to Williams on the Grand Canyon Railway. You do 1 night in Williams at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel, and then the next morning you catch the Amtrak Southwest Chief from Williams back to Chicago, overnight train. Overall, 13 days, 12 nights. We get sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park, Yellowstone National Park. We get a city tour of Los Angeles. We get round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the Motor Coach Freedom tour of the South Rim. All in all, 8 nights hotel. 4 nights on board the train, and yes, those 4 nights on the train are in coach accommodations. Once again, we can absolutely upgrade to the sleeper accommodations. We'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train would be included. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about the destinations and the packages and things like that, but what about the actual train experience? So let's hop right into that. And first, we're going to talk about luggage. Now, take what you know about being on an airplane and picture the exact opposite, because the luggage on Amtrak is fantastic. It's one of the most generous policies in all of travel. So keep this in mind. Amtrak allows each passenger to have 2 pieces of carry-on luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as a personal item. So figure along the lines of a backpack, briefcase, laptop bag, pocketbook, purse, or even a small duffel bag. And this is standard on board Amtrak, unlike the airlines who usually charge for the first check-in bag. They sometimes charge up to $25. I seen one even last week charging $50. That's insane. Amtrak, this is standard. You bring up to almost essentially 5 bags on board the train. Now let's go over the accommodations on board the train, because I know I've been talking about coach and sleepers and upgrading, but what does this all mean? So the first thing we're going to go over is the coach accommodations on board the train, which are definitely unlike airplane seating. Take what you know about airplane seating and picture the exact opposite, because the coach seating on Amtrak is fantastic. The seats themselves are typically double the size of your standard airplane seat. They recline at a 45-degree angle, and they also have a leg rest as well, and the legroom is uncomparable. In fact, last year I journeyed on a train with one of my colleagues who's 6'6". He could fully stretch his legs out and still have room to spare. You'll never find that on an airplane. If you do, you're paying quite the premium. Just think, this is standard on board Amtrak. Now, one of the best things too with coach is you actually have the freedom to get out of your seat and freely move amongst the train. Go visit the cafe car once again, visit the dining car, or visit my personal favorite, the observation car, or get up and move around and mingle with your fellow riders. But maybe you want your own private room. I know I can tell you, coach seating is great. However, meals aren't included, and neither is shower access. If you're doing a night or more on board the train, you're probably going to want to eat. You're probably going to want to take a shower. So where do we go from there? We upgrade to the roomettes. Now, the roomettes are the most popular type of sleeper on board the train. During the day, it's two big seats that face each other with a big picture window in between and a fold-out table. At night, the two seats convert to the lower bed, and right above where her head is, pulls down for the top bed. Now, I do want to make note with the roomettes, meals are included. However, the bathrooms and showers are located just down the hall. And yes, they are private but shared. So yes, you will be sharing them with the rest of the people in the same accommodations on board the train, and the same roomette accommodations in the same car. However, they're private. Once you're in there, you're in there. There's a lock on the door. You don't have to, it's not like a college dormitory where people are coming in and out. It's a full size, and the neat thing is it's a full-size bathroom with a full-size shower. Now you might say to yourself, Nick, this sounds really neat, but is there a way I can get my own bathroom in room? Yes, there absolutely is. We can upgrade you to the bedrooms. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes, and it's a bit of a different setup. So during the day, it's more of a sofa style seating where that gentleman is sitting, with an extra captain's chair as well where the lady is sitting. At night, that sofa style seating converts to the lower bunk, and right above where his head is, pulls down for the top bunk. Now, I do want to make note that if you look at the little diagram on the right-hand side, you see a little closet-looking thing. That is a private toilet, sink, and shower in use for your use and your use alone when you have the bedroom accommodations. Now's the time for my favorite spot on board the train. That's right, the observation car. Really fantastic. I can tell you, other than every time I've been on the train, other than to eat, sleep, and shower, you can find me in the observation car, because this really is your front row seat at seeing those amazing sceneries that can only be seen on board the train. It has floor-to-ceiling windows with a glass dome top, and the seats actually face outwards towards the windows. It really is the best spot to see the beautiful landscapes that can only be seen from an Amtrak train. And now's the moment we've all been waiting for, dining. I know that we've been mentioning about getting meals included whenever you upgrade and things of the sorts like that. So let's go over that. So, well, take what you know about airplane food and once again, picture the exact opposite, because the dining on board Amtrak is fantastic. And you would be amazed at the quality of meals that are served on board the train. I'm talking for breakfast, for example. There's pancakes or waffles, bacon and eggs, omelets. For lunch, there's juicy cheeseburgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. For dinner, there's fish, there's chicken, there's Amtrak's main dish, the Amtrak signature steak, which I can tell you I had 2 nights in a row once and absolutely loved it, and I know you all will too. And the whole process about dining on board the train is really lovely. As soon as you board the train, the dining car attendant will come by to your room, set up reservation times that you want to eat your meals. When it's time to eat, you head down to the dining car, take a seat in one of these comfortable booths with a white linen tablecloth layout. You get to order off a menu and order from a server like you would at a restaurant. So really, if you think about it, Amtrak isn't just transportation, but it's a hotel on wheels, a restaurant on wheels, and sightseeing on wheels, all rolled up into one amazing experience that you're all going to love. And my friends, we've barely scratched the surface of what we have to offer to you all. If you pay a visit to our website at amtrakvacations.com, it'll bring you here. And there's a couple different ways to see all of the packages we have to offer. If you hover over where that red arrow is pointing at the top, the Destinations tab, you can then navigate through by destination, see all the different packages and destinations we have to offer. Or you can search by right in the middle through that Destinations tab in the middle, which you can search by destination, specific train routes, top stations, or you can even search by your area. And then also as well, keep this in mind, if you go over to the right-hand side to the trip planning section, it offers some really amazing information when planning your trip and things to know before preparing for your Amtrak journey, whether it be from baggage guidelines to meals to what the sleeping accommodations look like. Just has a lot of really great things in the works. And once you find the right package of mine, how do you book? Well, you can book through our website at amtrakvacations.com. You could give us a ring at 1-800-268 7252 on one of our amazing vacations consultants will be more than happy to help you out. Or what I always recommend, give a call or even better, pay a visit to your local travel agent. They will be more than happy to help you plan your Amtrak vacation. I can tell you, I go through my local travel agent for all my travel needs. I love it. They're definitely definitely a wonderful resource to utilize because they're always trying to find you the best deals. They can answer questions and they are always have your best intentions. And keep in mind too, everyone, we offer some really great everyday discounts as well. If you're traveling with children ages 2 to 12, the kids get a 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. If you're a senior traveler age 65 and over, you get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. And lastly, if you're active duty military, you, your spouse, and your dependents get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package, just as a thank you for your services. And for everyone, keep your eyes peeled to your email inboxes as all of you from attending today will be receiving a $100 upgrade voucher. So keep that in mind, and that voucher will be good until July the 25th. So keep that in mind. It is really fantastic. You won't want to miss out on this. I can tell you the promotion is if you upgrade to any of the sleeping accommodations on any of our vacation packages, you can upgrade to that and get $100 off. And once again, don't forget to download the handout that's on the right-hand side. It covers a lot of the great information that we went over today. And as well as, now's the time too, because in just a minute, I'm going to answer any of these questions. I've been seeing them pile in, so I'm going to be able to answer those all for you. So let me do that. Before I answer all these questions, let me just take the opportunity to thank all of you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So let's hop right into it. I'm going to ask some questions. Let's see. Answer some questions. Let's see what we got. JK is asking, if I'm going business class and the ending in Portland, Oregon, may I visit the first class lounge at the end of my trip? I don't believe so. I believe it's only for the for people in sleeping accommodations, but it's definitely well worth a try. Steven, looking to go to Vegas. Unfortunately, the funny thing about Las Vegas is there's no actual train station in the city of Las Vegas. It's all motor coach services from either Kingman, Arizona or Los Angeles. It's very tricky. Sharon, when doing the Explore the Canyon when ending in Flagstaff, how do you get back to your home? Do you have to book your own flight, or does the train take you back to the beginning town of Albuquerque? So you can set it up. We could definitely set you up with the rail back to wherever you want to go from, most definitely. Or if you wanted to, you could set up your own flights for yourself as well. Teresa, the rail can be from anywhere. Teresa's asking, on the last minute vacations, on one-way rail is included, but where? But from where? Wherever you want to come out of, or wherever the start destination is. Elaine, on Alaska rail and sail trip, would the train back to Chicago be available to add? What would the cost be? The cost can vary, but we can definitely add that on. I can tell you a lot of people will add the return flight back on. Any more questions? These are great. Let's see. Yes, Stephen, they are Amtrak service transfers, so definitely. Most definitely, most definitely. Any more questions? Oh, thank you, Stephen. Yes, Patty's asking, do most rail cars have an observation car? All the long distance rails do typically have an observation car on there, so you definitely would want to utilize that as yeah, because they're definitely the most scenic ones. The observation cars out west, or the long distance routes out west. Any more questions? Stephen, you'd be looking at probably about 3 nights. Elizabeth, unfortunately, you can't do that. You'd have to do some overnights. Let's see. Frank, I do not know the answer to, unfortunately. Adrian, I unfortunately, yeah, because only for Niagara Falls we only work with the Canadian side. So you can take the train to the New York side and set up maybe your own hotel accommodations. But as far as packages, we don't have anything. We have anything from there. Elizabeth, yes, it is the wine train. We do work hand in hand with the wine train. Adrian, as long as you have a passport in that, you should be good to go if you have a U.S. passport or anything like that, or enhanced driver's license. JK, you're responsible for that. We unfortunately do not, Linda. Roy, we unfortunately do not do. Roy, we unfortunately don't do the pass at all. We do point to point because we do the vacation packages. Oh, you're welcome. Any more? So it looks like to me we might be out of questions for today. So if anyone has any questions in the oh nope, we got a couple more. Yes, so Sharon, so your packages are only one way. Most of them are one way, but we can always ask. So we do have some round trip one, but if you do want the return rail, just let us know or let your travel agent know. We can help set that up for you. Adrian, do you have a printed map of all the destinations on our website at amtrakvacations.com? Most definitely. James, do you get early boarding with the rooms? Yes, you do. Absolutely, and you get to utilize the rooms on the tray on the lounges. Roy's asking a great question. When you make a reservation, do you pay it all up front or can it be done over the course of a few months? So generally, final payment is due within 60 days of your departure date. So if you make a reservation far out in advance, you typically would just pay a deposit that's based on the total cost of your trip. And then the remaining balance would be due generally 60 days prior. So if you did want to make payments along the way, people will do that. They'll actually might set up their own payment plan on their end, and then you can just make payments along the way. No, my pleasure. Thank you. Elizabeth, no, you'd spend time in a hotel. Oh, most definitely, JK. You could do that. Yeah, tons of people do that. Absolutely. So I do want to take the time to thank all of you for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate it. It's definitely much appreciated that you took time out of your busy days to learn a little bit about what we got going on with Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations. If you do want to go ahead and book any of these trips, definitely call that number in the middle of your screen. We're open till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can once again pay a visit or give a call to your local travel agent, and they will be more than happy to help assist you as well. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all once again. And my name is Nick Bonnell, and I am very happy that you all got to join me today. I hope you all take care. And until next time, and by the way, we do these presentations every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, we'll be doing another one as well. And we hope that you can join us. So thank you so much. I hope you all take care and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everybody.